And welcome back to another round of Oracle card readings by Anitara from Healing Touch. Before I begin the reading, I'm very happy to announce that my soul deck came live on Amazon on the Sarah Day, which is 24th of October, and by next evening the first lot was entirely sold out. So many of you messaged me telling me or called me telling me that the decks were unavailable. But the good news is that the second lot has already reached Amazon, and yes, it is available right now for anyone who wants to buy it off Amazon. Thank you very much for giving me this response, for actually, making me feel good that I finally did come up with a deck, because Baba had been telling me for a very long time that I need to come out with my deck, but as usual, I was just hesitating. But let's say about 2 months back, he was very insistent that I need to come out with my first deck. I hope, as Baba promises me, there are going to be many more things coming up next year. But he was very insistent that before the end of the year, I need to come out with my first deck. And it is just the love and affection that I get from my students that actually help me go further ahead. And I always tell them that you do not have to thank me for whatever the guidance that I give you. In fact, I should be thanking all of you, because if it wasn't for you all, I wouldn't strive harder or try to reach higher myself. And by getting down all that information, that's because I have all of you to share it with. But two people that I really need to thank for the soul deck is Sonali Loya, who has done the entire designing of all the cards and brought it all like in a package. She just said it for me the minute I told her that this is coming very strongly, that I need to do this the deck of cards before the year end. And her husband Amit Bapat, who helped us in every way possible, with all the digital matter that had to be done, which Sonali and I are not very good at. So he was the one who was helping us with that, and finally we did come out with a deck. And like I said, I am very happy and grateful to Baba that the first lot was already a sellout within a day, and the other lot is already available on Amazon. So please go ahead and book your soul deck, because as I told you all the last time, it is an extremely easy deck to begin your journey of divination, because the book that I have written, giving the meaning of each card, is very simple to understand. So it's not very complicated. It's not that you have to be the chosen one, or you have to be higher up in your spiritual journey to actually start reading the oracle deck. No, nothing like that. Just pick up a deck and start reading for yourself, for your family, for your close friends, and you will really come to realize that it's so easy. It is so easy to get messages for yourself, for your family members, for your friends. Even every day you just pick up one card and say, okay, what is it going to be, what is my day going to be like today? And the card will give you a reading on what you should expect to come, maybe in the day, in the week, for the month, or whatever. But just pick up the deck and start your journey in divination. As we all know, Diwali is coming around the corner, so I'm wishing all of you a very, very happy Diwali. Let us all take a conscious choice to take care of the pollution, so burning crackers anywhere is not so as much as it was earlier, because we have to take care of the environment, we have to take care of our pets, the other animals, because of course they do get very afraid with the noise of the crackers. So we need to be a little more consciously alert of that. Also, I would like to tell all of you that this year and all the years going ahead, we have, as a family, have taken a very, very conscious choice, a call, let us say, not to exchange gifts with each other. I feel it is much more important for us to do whatever we can for society. So instead of, giving each other gifts, I think it would be better if we went to orphanages, we went to adoption centers, we went to children's homes, places where whatever little you give will really be highly appreciated and needed. It is important that we make their Diwali also a very happy Diwali, instead of just distributing and, gifts within each other when really we don't need to, right? Because whatever we want, we already have. Baba and the masters have blessed us with so much of abundance. So instead of this sharing between friends, I would really, really want you all to think about this more seriously. That why don't you go out into society? Why don't you go and see where you can actually help? Where you can actually go distribute food, distribute sweets for Diwali, give some diyas to them, give some, maybe clothes to them, and make their Diwali also very happy, as it is going to be for all of us, right? So, of course, from this year onwards, every single year, we as a family are going to follow that dictum, and I do hope many of you follow that too. So with that, let's begin the oracle card reading for the month of November. Already as you come closer to November, December, that excitement starts coming in, actually from October onwards, because all festivals are coming up, and there's a kind of a vibrancy in the atmosphere. There is a kind of a joy, there's a kind of an expectation, there's kind of a happiness that comes in us. So we are right there, very, very close to the Diwali festival, which is of course one of the biggest festivals for all of us to celebrate. So now let me pick up the cards for, let's see, what do we have for Aries. So today I will be doing a 2-card reading for each sun sign. And as we begin, always the first sun sign that we begin with is Aries. So the 2 cards I have picked up is Rescue and Serve Others. Alright, so these are the cards of different octaves. So when I'm looking at these cards, what I am picking up is that, maybe what I was just talking about, that you need to really go out into society, help someone. Maybe they are feeling very caught up in their own, whatever the environment is that they are in right now, and they just need a little bit of extra help from you. But on the other hand, rescue also could be, and as I have written in the card below, that rescue actually has 2 connotations. It means that, do you feel you need to be rescued from something or someone? Does someone have a very strong emotional negative attachment to you, which you need to look deeply into and maybe get out of those negative emotional attachments? Or is there anyone in your periphery, in your family or around you that need a little bit of solace from you, that need a little bit of helping hand from you to come out of a very difficult situation? But the other card that came up was Serve Others. So definitely, Arians, you really, really need to go out into society and see how you can be of help to those underprivileged people, to those people who are struggling with whatever it is in their life. Because, of course, this is the month of celebration. This is the month of happiness and joy. So you need to really go out and give a little joy to others outside of you, outside of your family. So let's see, what do we have for Taurus? The cards I'm picking up for Taurus is, it's a follow-up pattern and forgiveness. Now, when I'm looking at these cards of Taurus, what I'm feeling is that lately you feel like you are in a rut. Maybe the same kind of people are coming around you, the same kind of situations are coming around you. You're getting embroiled in the same environment or the same kind of, like I said, situations that are coming up, coming around you. So what you need to do is actually take a step back and ask yourself that, what is the pattern that I am habituated to? What is the pattern that I keep falling into? It's like a ditch and you keep falling into the same pattern. So you need to break yourself out from that pattern, because definitely if it has come, you follow the path of the pattern and see where it begins. And the beginning point is where you need to make a change by either saying a positive affirmation or cancelling it out or whatever it may be. But that is where you need to begin. Now, the other thing that has come up for Taurus is forgiveness. Now, I feel these 2 cards actually give you a very good idea of what you have to do. Maybe there is someone who has hurt you or affected you negatively. There is maybe a situation that you just cannot get out of, that you cannot, you still haven't forgiven, you haven't gotten over a past situation that happened, which in your eyes was very, very wrong. But what you need to do now is learn how to forgive. Because, and I always tell my students that, what do you mean by forgiveness? Forgiveness is forgiving. And what do you give? Unconditional love. Because the only true way of forgiving is when you give unconditional love. When you flood the other person who has harmed you, who has affected you negatively, with a lot of compassion and love. That's the only way that you can cut that bond, of that very negative, strong bond between you and the other person whom you just cannot forgive for whatever they've done to you. But the only way to cut that bond is actually picture them in your mind. Picture them in front of your mind and see this cord between the two of you. And just say, I'm cutting this cord with love and compassion. And then as you breathe in from your heart, just send out a lot of love and compassion to the other person. You will actually realize that over a period of time, either one, that you're not, every time you think of the person or every time that person comes in front of you, you don't get negatively, anxious or angry or whatever it is, with looking at that person or just thinking about the person. And you will also realize that you are feeling much more lighter. And the whole journey, the whole path that we all as human beings have to follow, going ahead, going towards the fifth dimension, is getting lighter in our energy body. So why are we holding on to all those negativities? From a person, from a situation, from an event that happened. Why are we still holding on to that negativity? It may not actually harm the other person. The other person may not even be affected by it at all. But it's creating a heaviness in you, in your energy field. So we need to cut those cords. We need to detach from those negative energy cords. And the best way to do is flood them with a lot of love and compassion. Taurus, definitely for this month, follow what is being told to you by the oracle, and I promise you that by the end of the month, you will actually feel a lot more lighter. And you can get back to me on that. Okay, so now what do we have for Geminis? So Geminis is relationships and higher truths. So, when I'm looking at these two cards, first of all, relationships, let me talk about that. So, again, something like what I just spoke about, that you need to completely detach from those negative relationships that are around you. But when I see these two cards come together, the feel that it is giving me right now is that probably through the people whom you are in a relationship with, it could be family members, it could be mentors, it could be friends, whoever, maybe your boss or whoever, or your colleague. But definitely you are in a relationship with, every human being is in a relationship with so many different people, right? It's not only the family relationship when we talk about this. So someone from there is actually going to come out with some higher truths that you need to look deeply into for yourself. Maybe for your growth, maybe for, pointing out to where you are getting stuck and why are you still stuck in that situation or that circumstance, let us say. So definitely someone that you are aware of, right? Like I said, it could be a family member, it can be a mentor, it can be a parent, grandparent, boss, colleague, friend, but someone will actually be pointing out some higher truths to you, which sort of, first it may say, me? No, of course not. That's not the way it is. But listen to those people when they are maybe pointing out something that you need to be very, very aware of to take you into deeper and more higher truths. Because of course we all want to go reach the fifth dimension. So listen to them. and follow the guidance that you get from that revelation. Now let us see, what do we have for Cancerians? Thank you so much for the guidance. Is someone messaging me? I am blessed. I am blessed to give this guidance, but remember, this is not mine. It is the Oracle card guidance, which has come directly from the Masters, so you have to thank them. Okay, so for Cancerians, oh wow. Cancerians, the two cards that I have picked up is Doorways Opening and Abundance. So for the month of November, I would want the Cancerians to be a little more alert, a little more keep your ears and your eyes open, because wonderful opportunities can come your way, which will lead you to a lot of abundance. So Cancerians, these are the two beautiful cards that have come up for you for the month of November. And literally, you can actually expect miracles coming into your life, blessings coming into your life, because the meaning of both these cards actually are the same, that something wonderful is going to come for you before the end of the month. But remember, my dear friends, that like I said, we need to keep our eyes open, we need to keep our ears open, because if we are not alert, and this especially come for the Cancerians, if we are not alert, maybe the opportunity will come, but because we did not pay attention to it, it may just go by. So do not do that, my dear Cancerians, because by the end of November, you would have probably started something new, or whatever you are into, it would have grown to an exponential level. Some good luck, some kind of abundance will definitely come your way, my dear Cancerians, in the month of November, before the month ends. So please be alert and aware of that. And grasp the opportunity. Don't let it just slide by, because, sometimes what happens is that something new comes up and you start questioning yourself, and should I get into it? Should I take that risk? Should I really jump into this opportunity? But for Cancerians, because this card has come up, definitely, if something new comes up, take the leap of faith and go ahead and fly. Again, there's no need to thank me. There are people thanking me, but you can thank the Masters. So let's see, what do we have for Leos? There is self-love and clear space for new. Now, clear space for new, of course, Diwali time is the time when we do that deep cleansing in our home and clean up all the corners of the cupboards and, those places that otherwise we don't really pay attention to. Everyone does it in Diwali time, but I feel we should all do it all throughout the year, because if there is debris anywhere in our home, it actually attracts a lot of negative energy. And I always recommend to all my students that your space, the place where you stay, the place where you're working from, should be absolutely clear. And, when the space is clear, it brings in a lot of light energy. But when the space is cluttered, it absorbs a lot of dark, negative energies. So yes, it has come for the Leos, that a clear space for new. And the other word has come as self-love. So when I look at these two cards together, they're actually not talking about your space. The card is not talking to me just now about space, about your home or your office or something. But it is actually telling me that for Leos, what they need to do right now is clear the internal space. Right? So as you start working more on clearing those cobwebs, maybe from your mental mind, maybe some emotional turmoil or baggages that you are still holding, like I said, in, when you don't forgive other people or whatever it may be, you are holding a lot of baggage. Also, maybe physically, you need to take care of yourself, because the other card that has come up is self-love. So what you need to do, Leos, not, like I said, for Diwali, not decluttering your space, but Leos need to focus for the month of November in decluttering their own energy system. So I would recommend Leos, simple, take a salt water bath as often as you can, but yes, do sit down and meditate if you can, even for 10 minutes a day. Clean the chakric system. There are lots of meditations that are there on my website, and one of the simplest ones is clearing your chakric system. and the website is www.healingtouchbyanitara.com. So there are lots of meditations that are there. You could actually just begin with the chakric meditation, because that's the point where you need to begin. Yes, before that is the grounding, balancing and protection that you need to do, but you need to do something, Leos, because when these two cards have come up for you for November, it means that there is something that you are holding on to. Now, I cannot individually tell each one whether it is in your physical body, whether it is in your mental body, whether it is in your emotional body, but it definitely is there. There is a lot of heaviness, there is a lot of clutter, there is a lot of, let's say, dense energies that are there in you, Leos, which you need to declutter, because maybe by the end of November, when you have done your cleansing, something, wonderful will open up for you. We are coming to the end of this year, and I know every year, because of the numerological connotation of the year, every year brings in a new energy. So if it is come specially for Leos, please follow it. Saltwater bath is the simplest. Sitting and meditating, working with your chakric system, cleaning out your chakric system. Even if you cannot do any of this, at least go out and walk in nature, because nature has the profound, let us say, benefit of clearing heavy energies from you. Go hug a tree, right? So definitely go out, sit in nature, be out more in nature, because when you're walking around in nature, if you just go for a walk, of course not talking to other people when you're walking, but when you're just going alone for a walk and you just look around, and that's the time you're actually clearing a lot of debris from either of your bodies, physical, mental or emotional. But if these cards have come for Leos, please do follow it. Definitely you'll come into something better next month and the next year, right? Now let's see, what do we have for Virgos? What are the cards coming up for Virgos? Also, someone's very happy with the reading. Thank you. Okay, so for Virgos, the cards that have come up for Virgos is resolve differences and look from a bird's eye view. Okay, so when I'm looking at these two cards, what I'm picking up for Virgos is that maybe right now there is something that is disturbing you mentally and emotionally. It could be a situation you're involved in, it could be in a relationship, it could be that there are certain differences that you have with maybe other people, with either personally with some person, or maybe even professionally at your workplace, right? So definitely there is some something that is creating a kind of uneasiness inside of you. The other card that came up is look from a bird's eye view. So what you need to do, and this is what I always teach my students, that there is one which is called the microcosm and there is one which is called the macrocosm. Microcosm is everything physical, right? So your family, your home, your work, your people around you and everyone. So that's the microcosm. There is another level which is called the macrocosm. And sometimes we need to actually, especially if we are involved in something which is disturbing us a lot, where we are not just getting clarity on how to come out of that situation or how to do away with that particular situation, we need to just go to the macrocosm. And once we are there in the macrocosm, looking from up, that's the bird eye view. When we are looking from up, we actually feel that, am I stupid? Why am I so stuck with this one thing that is irritating me? Why can't I just get over it? Why can't I look at everything else around me in my life that is so beautiful, and there is so much of love that is coming to me, there is so much of abundance that I have in my life? Why am I stuck in that one point? So for Virgos, what you need to do is to resolve your differences with a person, with a situation, and in your personal life or professional life. Go up to the macrocosm, look at it from a bird's eye view. Maybe, many a times, maybe that, these differences are brought in front of us in our life because we need to take a learning from it. There is something that we need to learn from it, understand from it. So I always say that if you're embroiled in a difficult situation or a difficult a relationship or whatever it is, instead of going on saying, why me, what did I do, I didn't do anything wrong, why why is this thing come up, why are people misjudging me, or whatever it may be, I would always tell people that ask yourself that what does this situation want to teach me? What is the learning that I need to get from this particular situation that I am embroiled in right now? And that's actually going up to the birds, taking the bird's eye view. Because it's only when you say that clarity will come up, and the minute clarity comes in your mind, there is no difference. The difference resolves itself. Okay? So let's see, what do we have for Libras? Thank you, ma'am. Gauri saying, thank you, Gauri, for being here. Okay, so what do we have for Libras? Again, decord and detach and emotional well-being. So what I feel that the Libras need to do is pay more attention to your emotional body, because this is coming as the emotional well-being. So for the month of November, you have to give yourself a lot of TLC, which is tender loving care, because maybe emotionally there are lots of things that are there in your mind right now. Maybe emotionally you're caught up in a lot of situations which you don't know really how to overcome, or how to resolve, or whatever it is. But by giving yourself that love, by soothing, I would say, your inner child, you would actually be detaching yourself from all those situations that are creating a kind of a tussle in you right now. Whenever I talk about emotional well-being, the one thing that everyone needs to remember is you have to soothe your inner child, because emotional attachments begin at that point when you were a child. Maybe you felt abandoned, maybe you felt neglected, maybe you felt as if no one loved you, maybe you felt that you were not good enough. So most of the emotional attachments, negative emotional attachments, begin in our childhood. And because we have faced it at that time when we were a child, now in whatever age we are, when we are faced with the same kind of a situation, it sort of creates a trigger in us and forms a chord, right? So what you need to do is soothe your inner child. And one of the best exercises that I always recommend, and I say to nearly all my students, is that the first thing that you do when you wake up in the morning and you're going to brush your teeth, stare at your own eyes in the mirror. Look deeply into your own eyes, because your eyes are the doorway to your soul. So look deeply into your own eyes and say, I love you. And after you say, I love you, you can say whatever you want to. You're such a beautiful soul. You're so compassionate. I love the loving nature that you have. I love the way you're looking. I love the way you interact with other people. I love the help you are giving us, whatever. So the only sentence that is a definite, is I love you. And if you can say that a couple of times, I love you. You're such a compassionate person. I love you because you're such a loving, caring soul. I love you because of the way you're conducting your life. I love you is the most important sentence that everyone needs to say to soothe their inner child. Believe and trust me when I say this, that the more you do this exercise, the more often you do this exercise, you will actually start feeling a lot of lightness coming into you. And you will actually realize that nothing really affects you, because the most important person in this world for you is you. And when you can love yourself for whatever way you are, and when you give that love out, when it radiates out of you, that love is going to come back to you manifold. So definitely try this exercise, especially for Libras, because you need to soothe your inner child for the month of November. Okay, so let's see, what do we have for Scorpios. So the two cards that I am picking up for Scorpios is rest and physical health. So Scorpios, what you need to do is, maybe you've been overworking yourself. Scorpios, I know by nature, are the kind of people who can never sit quiet. So sometimes I say that Scorpios create more and more issues in their life because they cannot sit idle. Their mind can never be idle. And they are the best multitaskers that I have ever seen. So Scorpio sometimes, by focusing on resolving one problem, there will be another one that will come up and another one that will come up. They actually tire themselves out without realizing that at certain points in time, you just need to sit back and rest if you don't want to come in for a burnout. And because these two cards have come, rest and physical health, my advice to the Scorpions would be definitely use this time, this Diwali vacation that is coming, to probably go for a vacation, to just forget about work, forget about whatever issues are there, forget about all the problems that you have in life. Just rest it out. Take a complete break and look after your physical body. So probably, yes, like I say, go for a walk, do some physical activity, go for a swim or go play a game, and at the same time, rest as much as you can. Eat the right kind of nutritious food, take care of your physical body, because if these two cards have come together, there is a very likely chance that Scorpions may come up for a physical burnout, which is not what we want to ever happen. So for the month of November, you need to take a lot more care of your physical health. Again, taking care of your physical health, like I have always told you all before, some time back, that, I believe that taking salt water bath once a week, make it a daily routine, because that will take care of your physical, emotional and mental health. So that's the way to really cleanse the heaviness in your energy body. And it's so simple. Just buy a bottle of bath salts and keep it in. Once a week, just scrub your body with the bath salt and you're done. You're taken care of. You're releasing a lot of heaviness, wherever it may be, physical, mental or emotional health. So now let us see, what do we have for Sagittarians. Oh wow. So the two cards that have come up for Sagittarians is freedom and irresponsible. Now when I'm looking at these two cards, it means that somewhere Sagittarians have been, not participating in doing whatever it is that they have to do. So somewhere you have been irresponsible. You are not prioritizing things that you have to do in the now. So probably you've been procrastinating, but this is not the right time to do it, my dear Sagittarians, because when you start becoming responsible for your life, for whatever it is that you have to do in the moment of now, and you actually actively start, taking responsibility for all that needs to be done, you'll come into freedom. Right? So Sagittarians, you definitely need to not to procrastinate. Just the last thing we read about Scorpios is they need to take rest. But for Sagittarians, it's coming the opposite. You need to be very, very alert about your responsibility and try to fulfill it in the now, without leaving it for another day, another time, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes, right? So when you start doing that, you will experience a lot more freedom. You'll experience a lot more lifting off of energy, and you'll start feeling lighter, and you will actually be in the free flow of life. So definitely Sagittarians, do follow it. Someone's asking me that they probably joined in late and could not read the sun signs for their family members. Not to worry. As soon as this session is over, it will be on my Insta page, Healing Touch by Anitara. You can always go back and refer to all the sun signs, and of course, like you said, your family members you want to know, yes, you can always go back and hear the sun signs again, because it would be difficult for me to sit repeating all of them right now for you, right? So Capricornians, let's see, what do we have for Capricornians? So the two cards that have come up for Capricornians is anger and patience. So when I'm looking up at these two cards, I feel that there is a lot of pent-up anger that is there in Capricornians. because of maybe something that someone has harmed you or done something wrong to you. My only advice, the card's advice actually, and that would also be my advice, is that just be a little patient. First of all, what you need to do is release all your pent-up anger. Like I said some time back, whenever we hold a grudge with someone else or we are angry with someone else, it only affects us negatively. The others may not even be bothered about it. They may not even be aware of it. They may not even be aware that you're angry with them or whatever it is. But why do we want to give space to someone else? And that space is not a positive space. It's a very negative space that we are allowing them to occupy in our energetic body. Why are we doing that? Just release whatever the anger is. Do whatever it is that you have to, but just let go of all that anger and have patience, because maybe you have been wronged very badly and for no fault of yours. But if you have patience, you will be rewarded. The truth will come out in some way or the other, and you will get what you deserve. But what you need to do is, first of all, release all the anger that is there inside of you. Like I said, do not give space to others. Do not let others occupy unnecessary, hard, negative space in your energy field, because it only harms you. It doesn't bother the other person at all. So please follow that dictum for the month of November. So let's see, what do we have for Aquarius? So the cards that have come up is change is inevitable, and open your heart. Bring in a lot of more compassion. Okay, so someone's telling me tough is to be patient right now. Yes, this is what's happening, but tough is to be patient. But if the card has come up for that, you really need to be patient, because the truth will be revealed and you will be rewarded for what you deserve. Okay, so for Aquarians, like I said, the cards are change is inevitable and bring in compassion. So yes, when I'm looking at these cards, what I'm picking up is that there is going to be a change for Aquarians, either in their personal life or professional life, right? And like everyone says, change is inevitable. So why don't you just take it with a smile and go ahead with it? When I spoke some time back, I was telling you to give compassion to the other person when you need to decord from them, when you want to release all those negative energy strands that you have with someone else. But this card for Aquarian says, bring in compassion for yourself. So this is, the meaning of compassion is the same. First, what I taught you was how to give compassion to other people, unconditional love to other people, because that's the way you forgive other people. That's the way you break cords from other people. But here, for Aquarians, it says, bring in compassion means for yourself. So what you need to do is that maybe it has been a little difficult time for you. Things have not been going the right way, the way you expected it to go. Something that, probably you thought would be very positive in your life did not work out that way. Don't worry. Open up your heart. Open up your heart with a smile and say, I know there is a change that is coming around, but it is going to bring me a lot of good luck and abundance going ahead. Like I told you, every numerological year has a different connotation. So we're going to complete 2023 and we're going to go to 2024, which will have a completely different energy about it. So for the moment, Aquarians, for the month of November, and I would actually say carry on till December, just open up your heart even if you have been going through a very tough time in your life lately, either professionally or personally. Just open up your heart and breathe in a lot of love, breathe in a lot of compassion, breathe in a lot of happiness, a lot of joy. Because the more you breathe all that in, that's what's going to radiate out into your aura. And that's what you will attract going ahead. So with the change, whatever is coming, maybe you've been sacked from a job, maybe there's a break in a relationship that you held very dear, or whatever it may be, allow compassion to come into your heart, because whatever the change is, either professionally or personally, it is taking you to a better time. and you need to be ready for that. So for that, you have to, sort of empty all the heaviness from your heart and actually smile and say that, all right, this has come about, but I'm not going to worry about it because I know something better is going to come my way through this change that I go through right now. And last but not the least, Pisces, as that's the last sign of the zodiac. So Pisces, the two cards that have come up is truth will shine out and listen to your intuition. By a rule, Cancerians, Scorpios and Pisces are extremely intuitive because they all are the water signs, and by a rule, without even actually doing any kind of meditation or any kind of work on themselves to build up their level of intuition, they are extremely intuitive people. So, but if it is coming, listen to your intuition, Pisces, that means you are being intuitively guided to something, where you need a lot of clarity in any situation in your life. But probably because the card has come out, you're not listening to your intuition. You're not paying attention to what you are being intuitively guided to do, or the next step that you need to take, or which way to go ahead with whatever it is. So for Pisces, definitely, once you listen to your intuition, actually, even if right now there is no intuition coming, why don't you just put a word out to the universe as you're going to sleep in the night, that I need to bring a lot more clarity into ... whatever it may be, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a professional career problem that you're going through, or whatever it may be. Just as you are going to sleep in the night, put this out into the universe, that I need a lot of clarity in how do I resolve this particular situation, or what is it that is there for me going ahead. And either in your dream state, or as you wake up in the morning, or throughout the next day, some intuition will come into you about how you need to, what steps you need to take to release that situation and to, make it all right. Definitely a lot of clarity will come to you. So try this. When I talk about that intuition, there are different forms of intuition that people get. One is, yes, there is a kind of an inner voice that you hear that you need to do this, or this is what you should look into, or this is, so those are the, the clairvoyant people, or the clairaudient people, let's say. There are other forms of intuition. That means when you have put that out into the universe the night when you're sleeping, next day maybe you put on the TV and something will flash, and that's, oh, that's what I wanted to hear. Someone else, some friend you meet, and they say a word or say something and say, yes, that's what I needed to hear. That is the way I know I'm going to clear out whatever it is that I need to clear out in my life right now. So intuition can come in many, many different forms. All we need to do as human beings is be very alert and, pick up on those signs when they come to us. So with that, we come to an end of the Oracle card reading for the month of November. I will see you all back the first Friday of December. Until then, wishing all of you the best of the festive season and a very happy Diwali. Namaste. And stay blessed always.